Hey guys, Darkstar here. So, I just finished the 10.3.4 update about 4 hours ago. And I promised on the stream that you guys would be seeing something, you'd be seeing a vlog tonight and talk about some things. So the first thing is, I do apologize, there's been late updates now for 2 weeks. Tibia's been updating a lot. Last week, I was moving across the country. I drove for 4 days straight, and they updated on the second day of 4 days, so had to wait. Did that update. Then this week, just start a new job. I can't really just say, hey, I gotta leave and go home and update. I can't really just come in late. Not in the first week. And an update comes out when I don't find out till it's about time to go to work, even though it happened 1 a.m. my time because I was asleep. So that's an issue. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is how I'm going to deal with that. I promised this would be the last week of late updates because, as most of you know, before I was the quickest in updating, and I will be the quickest in updating again. It's a little different now because before I would get up at 4 a.m. if there was an update, and I would do it if I knew it was coming, and sometimes I didn't know it was coming, so it's still late. Now it's 1 a.m. so instead of getting up at 4 a.m. and doing it before work then going straight to work, I'd have to get up at 1 a.m., do the update, go back to bed, and then wake up for work. And the question is, how will I know if an update's coming or not? Usually I check, but with the frequently increasing silent updates, I have come up with a new way for me to know if updates come. So this, as I explained on the stream, this is called a Raspberry Pi. The board itself is about the size of a credit card. It's got an ARM architecture CPU. ARM architecture is what you see in smartphones. It's running Linux. It's running a Debian distribution. As you can see on the screen, I do have 2 SSH windows open to it. And then these are 2 buzzers, 3 volts each. As you can see, the red, the positive, I've connected to a 3.3 volt power pin. And then the ground goes to 3 different input GPIO pins on the board. It has easily programmable input and output serial pins, which are the reason I'm using it, because I can turn those on and off from simple code. I'm using Perl to do this because it's quick and dirty. So what this does, the point of this board, I'm going to leave it plugged in 24/7 to the power and to the network. It's going to pull down the downloads page, a few other pages on Tibia. It's going to look for anything on their site that points to there being a new update. Let me just show you. So let's see. So the current version set to 10.34. Let me set it to 10.33. Okay, so current version set to 10.33. Now this update daemon is going to be run from a cron job once every few minutes. And this is what it's going to do. Pulls down the downloads page, checks it against current version. I don't know if you can hear that. But it makes a lot of noise. A lot of really annoying noise. And it will do that until I manually come in here, set the version to 10.3.4. Actually, I have to open up a whole SCP client. Well, I could do it from command line, but this way's easier. Not easier, but it's the way I will use. And it'll just keep making that noise until I save the file with the new version. So if I put it back to the old version, run it again, just going to sit here, sound the alarm. I'm also going to make it send me a text message in case I'm not home. And not until I get home and save it will it detect the new version, kill the alarm. So that is how I plan to be more aware of updates. That is how I will be woken up in the middle of the night to make sure I can get you updates as soon as possible. And I guess the next thing I want to talk about is there's a few changes I'm going to be doing. The time frame is loose right now because I'm juggling a lot of stuff. But I hope to have the injector rewritten, the verification rewritten. XenoBot will be released. It'll be the next version, either version 4 or I might go with the versioning that's becoming more common. Let's say today is January 29th of 2014. So the version would be 14.01.29 or 2014 January 29 would be the version if I release today. If I release tomorrow, it would be 14.01.30 and so on. And then for major versions, instead of having a version number represent a major version, I would come up with a naming scheme. Like Android phones, their naming schemes were dessert foods, where they went ice cream sandwich, Kit Kat, frozen yogurt, so on. I mean, not in that order, but they went in alphabetical order, and they used dessert names. I would do something like that for code names for major XenoBot versions, and I would stick to the versioning system based on date, because that makes it very obvious when something was released. And if I know, okay, I released this last February, it'd be easier to find the version I'm looking for. Same for the user saying, oh, I saw this released then, or version 10.34 was out in January of 2014, so I'll get the installer from January 2014, so on. So with the rewritten injector, I might be doing that. I haven't fully decided yet. And then there's a few other things I'm going to get done, but those will come in the future. Well, those will be announced in the future, one of which I'm going to try to redo the way the bot works with updates. Currently, I have to go and I have to update all the addresses by hand, then compile, then release. What I want to do is pull those addresses out of the static code and put them in a configuration file or multiple configuration files, and then have those configuration files be read when the bot starts up. And what I can do with that is I can make the injector automatically query the website for new versions. And then simple updates where there's no major changes, I can just throw out a version or a config file with the addresses for that version, and it will be pulled down by the bot automatically, and you'll automatically be able to use that version without reinstalling anything. And then only for major updates where there's actual structural changes like the battle list size changes or some function prototype changes or the way the GUI structure is laid out changes, something major that's not representative in my address scope, then you'll have to download something new. But besides that, you'll get a config file. It'll make updates quicker. It'll make them automatic. You'll get them as soon as they're there, so you can just keep trying XenoBot. And it'll make it so I can automate them. Right now, it's kind of hard to automate something that would go into the code and then add the stuff to the array and make all the changes by hand after change. But the by hand changes and all the ones I have to do are just a product of the way the project's laid out. If I throw those into a config file, and then I just make the project look for all config files and then check like a version number somewhere in them or on the file name, and then I can just generate a config file name, pull it in, and be good to go. So about half of my addresses are auto updated already, and I don't see it taking more than a night of a lot of coffee and banging my head against the computer to get them all automated for general simple updates, which would mean as soon as I see an update, I get on, I run the auto update, I do a test, I put the file out there, and it's done in 30 to 45 minutes. Like update done instantly, testing done in 30 to 45 minutes. That's what I hope for the future, and that'll come in the next version as well if it comes. So be looking for that. Anyways, it's midnight. I have work tomorrow. I just wanted to keep you guys updated on that. So this is the end of the vlog. Peace out, guys.